to her what is it called, PC. So sorry about that. So those are not closed right now. What you can do is again pay attention to most of the things I'm saying. This is also recorded, so you can and practice it. If there are any issues that come on the help channel, I don't think I created a specific channel for task related question. So we can still use the help channel to do that. Okay, so without so that also applies to you, Joanna. So without further ado, let's move on because we want to finish exactly 12. So if you have any questions, first come, first serve. If anybody have any pending question or query that has not been attended to, I can take two. So you can unmute your mic and ask, or you can type it in the chat, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. Your mic is unmuted. Are you trying to ask a question?
Yes, good morning, Sophia.
Good morning.
Okay, so I wanted to clarify things because
Mhm.
I this is my first office hour. I've not joined before, so it's very possible that I've missed previous things like what you were just talking about now. I have no idea what you just talked about. I mean the blog and everything. So I wanted to be sure that I'm still on track. I was to get things right, and it wasn't really because of my issue. I was onboarded late, and so I had to reach out again yesterday before they realized they didn't send me a mail. So that's why I've practically missed a lot of things. So I want to be sure that it doesn't affect my productivity or activity points, like you mentioned, and all of those things.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
very important. Where's my notes? I need to write these things down. So again, in a way, for pre-course week, this is only for pre-course week, right? Again, we're looking for workaround for point system because point system it counts from pre-course week, and some persons have missed some no fault of theirs. They were just not in the server yet. So look for a workaround. So basically, what I'm currently thinking is there is a specific average that we have. So what I think what I can do is let's see. You know what? Let's do this way because I'm still compiling points for everybody. It's mostly attendance. There's no project points yet. So once I compile points for attendance and I publish, tomorrow is Friday, right? I said I was going to publish current leaderboard tomorrow. Once I publish it, and then I am going to bring out a query form. That query form will be for people that missed this due to no fault of theirs. Maybe you were not in the server and you didn't see the information. Tomorrow is Thursday. My head is running. Wow. Okay. I'm going to send out that query form. So what you're going to do for me, that form is you fill it and let us know why you missed it, right? So that as long as you're up to date, so the condition is as long as you complete your project and you've watched the recording, we'll give you the attendance point. Now, I'm going to rehash. This will only happen this pre-course week, right? Because we are still onboarding people, and I know it's not their fault. But from 11th, when we stop onboarding, we stop accepting application. If you miss anything going forward, there's no opportunity to do over. Okay, and you were asking if you missed some things. Check the recording channel and you get updated on what I talked about in yesterday's office hour. However, today's topic is slightly independent, right? The only place you'll be lost, which I think you shouldn't be, is general task. I dropped the task for yesterday. So if you're in the Discord server, you should have seen that task already and you should have already watched the video. So this task is a continuation of that particular one. I'm just holding a workshop with us, especially for people that don't know how to create their blogs so that they can do that. Hope that answers your question. Okay, there's a question in the chat. Oh, but yes, there is. I think I should start sharing my screen from now so I can be showing people these things as I'm referring to them. Um, So let's see. If you go to your Discord and you check the recordings channel, you'd see that if you missed the onboarding call on Monday, you should go watch this YouTube video. This is for the onboarding call. The first office hour was yesterday, and the recording is also here. So, and I like to date it because after today's call, I'll still upload the link here and I'll date it as 31st and all of that. So you can catch up there. And here's what is going to be recorded, and I'll link it here for us. All right, so I've taken the two questions that I promised to take. Let's now have high level conversations about different tracks, right? First of all, I want to do a roll call. If you have ever written code before, like you've been exposed to anything programming specific for code now previously, kindly let me know in the chat. Let's keep it coming. Nice, nice, cool. All right, nice. So I'm getting some feedback from that. Although I've not checked the metric, the data metric for. All right, nice, Olafemi. I've not checked the data metric for. What do I call it now? Sorry, someone is trying to join the call. For the participants, but I noticed that we have few registration for the innovator track. So I'm going to focus more on innovator track and then work our way back to it. I'm trying to be sure that we have, okay, our tracks is here. Nothing is not reflected here actually. So it's not actually people's fault. Give me a minute. I have an internal file I need to share. Let me just quickly look at it. So we have all right, so Kosi just joined the call. So while I look for that file with the proper breakdown, I'll hand over to Kosi to just give us a walkthrough of what is expected of us with our social media in terms of, still get towards personal branding. So Kosi, just carry on so there's no much wait time. I look for the document. Kosi, I know you just joined. I hope if you could hear me, and also your mic is muted. Hello, Kosi, please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, hi, I can hear you now. Sorry, what are you saying?
Okay, I said you could start with the social media aspects now while I look for the file I need to share with them.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How are we this morning? Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kosi, I can hear you. Kosi, I don't think I can hear you anymore. Is it just me? I can see that your mic is unmuted, but not sure I can hear what you're saying. All right, so it might be network problem because you just let me know when you're back and available to be on the call. She's off the call now, it's most likely network. So let me share my screen again. I have the file open. So I was asking if you have some programming background, is that Some persons, again, at the end of the day, this decision is entirely on you, but want to be sure that you're aware that you have these options available to you as well. So we have the registration flow. So we have the different tracks. Like I mentioned yesterday, this requires no prior programming or product knowledge, right? And obviously for this track, we have the web developers, which is front end and back end. We have the mobile app developers. So again, I don't know if I'll categorize this as bad news or good news. From the initial blueprints, those in the mobile app development, let me call it school. I think that's the way, because under every track, what's the right word for this? Hold on, let me think. Trying to use university terms or terms that people, so let's just treat them as collections. So within the Explorer collection, there is a faculty or school. You know the way we have school of what's the word? School of engineering or school of this, right? So under the mobile app track, initially wanted to give people option to learn Android development with Java, that's Kotlin rather, and then iOS mobile app development with Swift, and then cross-platform with Flutter. Like you get to choose one of the three. But the mobile app students are not so much, right? So cross-platform with Flutter is priority for now. So since they are not so much, there's no point dividing them into different departments. Let me use the term departments. So Flutter is for, so again, let me try and explain because I shouldn't assume that most people understand what I'm talking about. So basically, for apps, for mobile app developers, um, if you write an app or you develop an app using a native language, so when I say native language, is language that is native to a particular operating system. You know the difference between Android and iOS. I mean, those are the like two popular operating systems that I have out there. So actually, if you want to build your app, you don't just write the app unless you use code that is cross-platform. So the term cross-platform is that the code base can run in either an Android phone or an iOS phone. But if you use native language like Swift or Kotlin, your app will only run, if it's Kotlin, the app will only be able to run on Android. If it is Swift, the app will only be able to run on iOS. However, like I mentioned, because this particular group is not much, unless a miracle happens and you guys increase in number before registration closes, um, Kotlin and Swift is off the table. Only Flutter for them is available right now. So for Flutter code, one code base that can run on both platforms, that can run on both iOS and Android. I'll stop that explanation for now so I can take questions. I mean, it's almost 11:30. Wow. Product design has just one track, UI UX, right? For the innovator track, we're thinking about stretching it further to things like brand identity, motion graphics, and the rest. But again, maybe next cohort, because the innovator track we even created, we don't have much people for that. So for product design, I think I don't have to speak so much on this for now. I'm assuming, if I am wrong, you can ask questions. I'm assuming that we understand the requirements of this particular track and what it is about. Product management is still in the school of product, but this is for the product managers. Now, in terms of management, when it has not product management, now in terms of management track, when it has to do with products, actually there are other subsets. We have program managers, we have project managers, and we have product managers. These three things are different. Like what I'm doing for this, I'm the program and project manager for other, for example. Similar tools but different concepts. Product manager could predominantly manages the product. Yes, I'm using the same word. So if you want to ship a product out, now this product can be anything, but in the context of tech, right, we are mostly shipping out software, right, or in some similar hardware. So let me say in the context of software in tech, right, we are mostly shipping out apps or web apps, but in a holistic view, your product is not necessarily the app that you're shipping, right? Unless you are building an innovation. Again, I didn't want to go into in-depth explanation. Okay, let me use real life products. Most of us know Flutterwave. Flutterwave is a payment infrastructure. and they mostly provide what we call SaaS. If I use certain terms I don't know, you can just write it down and do research after the call. They provide SaaS, so they provide software as a service. So they are mostly a service-based company. The product manager for such, which is not one person, right? We have different product managers for different micro products that they might be pushing out. So they might have a product manager in charge of Bata, Bata by Flutterwave, right? And this person's entire job is to see that the product owner's idea that they have is taken from that ideation stage to fruition, where there is a product that they release into the market. Product manager's role exceeds that. After the product is launched, there's something called product updates and upgrades. You want to make sure that your user needs are being improved on, if there are certain features that needs to be added, right? While the product owners and the rest of the board and the rest of the team too are brainstorming, trying to ideate, and the rest. The product manager's work is to make sure that all these think pieces left and right come together, and he brings out an executionable plan on how this product can come alive, or how the new releases can come alive. Then we have the data track, which is data science, data analysis, right? Sorry about that. So data science and data analysis track. Again, I won't talk so much on that because we already have most information for that one already. Now, the people I wanted to talk about, if you have existing programming knowledge, especially the prerequisites for these tracks, I will highly encourage you to switch unless it is not what you want, right? Now, to be a cloud engineer, you need to have fundamental knowledge of the web track. You should have been able to build something, at least anything at all, with HTML and CSS, at least, right? So your cloud engineer track is going to start from the scratch. Even though it's an innovator track, they're going to start from the scratch. Why we said you should have prior programming languages, it will be more fast-paced than those in the Explorer track, because we are assuming that people in the Explorer track are coming without any knowledge. So there are several things you need to learn. For example, your week one, you most likely be covering things like version control, figuring out how the terminal in your computer works. If you're in the design track, nothing really concerns you much with version control. They'll have their own version of those conversations. So these conversations for innovator is mostly very heavy on the coding aspect. So if your cloud engineer facilitator is touching on these topics again, he will move through them very fast because he's going to be thinking of them as recaps. I don't know if that makes sense. Because as a cloud engineer, you should know how the front end part works, how the back end part works before you begin to provide cloud infrastructure for these services, right? So again, to recap, the facilitator is going to start from the scratch, but that basic fundamental part, he's going to breeze through it because it's assumed that at least base level you have touched and done something with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript already. So if you feel like number one, you fall in this category, and number two, cloud is something that you want to try out, then you might try to change this when I make track change form available on Friday. I said Friday because I'm giving people enough time to think through this before making this decision, because you have just one opportunity to change your track. Once you're onboarded into the LMS with your track, I'm sorry, my dear, you're there till the end of the program. Then we have the blockchain track. Those people that are on the blockchain track will be building services on the Web3, mostly dApps, right? This blockchain track is very back-end heavy. So if you already have fundamental, like the basics of JavaScript already, you can go for blockchain solidity. Like I mentioned, it's mostly heavy on the back-end side. So if you know back-end engineering, but with solidity this time is something you want to do, and you want to build services that would run on Web3, you could switch to this track. For mixed reality and augmented reality, I won't really talk much on those because for the prerequisites, most of the ones I'm suggesting that people can switch on from the registrants info I have so far, I don't think we have people that can comfortably switch to those tracks. Unless I'm wrong, you can let me know. Now, finally, we have, time is going, finally we have software engineering with Java and C++. Now you'll be wondering, why is this one separated? Okay, good questions. There's some questions here. I would attend to them shortly. Let me just come back. Be sure that I'm done with this. All right. So, where was I? Software engineering, Java and C++. So, a software engineer is basically someone that builds software. Now, some of these things are just technical terms, really. So, if you are a web developer, you're also a software engineer because you're building software. Now, but on a very specific level, software engineers are people that mostly work on building services and infrastructure. You can be a software engineer that use JavaScript to build these things. However, we're focusing on Java and C++ for this particular track. Now, even though you're required to have at least touch code small, right? If they're teaching you Java, they're going to start from scratch. At the end of the day, we're going to still focus those in the Java or C++ track to enterprise level solutions. How do I explain this? Let's say you get to work with .NET to build certain things. So at the end of the day, you could build apps or you could build web apps, but our focus is we need people that are able to build more of services. I'm looking for the right layman term to explain these services. So it's not all software that people work on that you can see the UI, like you can see the user interface. You can say, oh, this is the app. People building the services that these UIs layer on, right? That is the core focus of the people that are on this track. So if you need something like that, or you feel like that is your core, people that are best suited for these are people that are naturally good with problem solving. You're a very good thinker. You like working with logic. You like working with algorithms. This track is for you. So timing, I have to stop there for now with that explanation. Let's take some questions. Please, will data analysis and data science be taught separately? Very good question. Now, the answer is it depends. Okay, there's a question that I'll answer together. I'm asked question on if, let me read it out. I got a bit distracted due to work call. Can you please talk more on data science and data analysis? Which is the basic of the other, and if both will be taught irrespective of which you take or pick? Initially, right, I wanted to have it separate, but we'll have it together and then you get to specialize towards the end if you want, right? Because data science and data analysis are two different things. You people will start at the same base level, right? You're going to start like from Python and then you deviate. Data analysis is more analytics focused, where you do more advanced Excel, you get to work with more statistics and tooling tools at the other end. Data science is much more broader than that. Let me make a note somewhere, because if we go into this, we're not going to leave here today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to note this down. I will, God, not me about to make promises. I usually don't have time. Okay, for the sake of those people in the data track, I will try my best later today. I will do, okay, which one would you people prefer? A short recording where I explicitly explain the difference between data science and data analysis in full details and share with you people, or not a compulsory call to join, but it lets me know when you'll be available and we just hop on a quick call, especially people that are considering that track. We talk about it. Because what I'm trying to avoid starting this conversation is we're going to sleep here. I don't really sleep here. It's going to make us exceed the time for office hours, and I'm trying to avoid that. So let me know in the chat what you vote. All right, so I'm seeing short recording, short video. So I'll make out time in my schedule today to quickly record it and then share the link. Okay. There is another question. Let me take that one before we get into the workshop. There is one. Someone said, what language that will be taught in the back end track? So again, with caveat, initial plan is back-end people get to work, build either back-end Node.js or back-end Django, Python. But we currently do not have enough people in the back-end track to even split them. So the base language, like the priority language for back-end is Node.js, right? But if the back-end track, again, just like I was talking about the mobile app people, miraculously increases in number before registration closes, we can now give you the option to choose if you're going with the Django or if you're going with Node.js. What track do I need to change into if I already have a little prior knowledge as a backend developer? With the universal track be too fast paced for beginner developers? No, it will not, right? For someone that already has base knowledge of backend development, it's not going to be too fast paced for you, but it will be too fast paced for someone that is just starting because there are some basic concepts that they really need to take their time to understand, but that won't be the case for someone that already knows. Um, so please about the mobile developer, what is it about as a newbie? Can I be able to cope? Yeah, mobile app, I started from the basic. As a beginner, you'll be able to cope. Don't worry about that. Okay, someone says call so she can ask questions. The thing is, short video is loading, right? So people that want to ask questions, you can always ask me questions in the Discord channel and I would attend to it. Right. And also, I can't really open my calendar for one-on-one short calls with you guys because I'm having these office hours with you. But once training starts proper, which you'll be seeing less of me unless you're in the track and facilitating, I would have my own personal office hours where I will publish my Calendly, and you can always book short 15 to 10 minutes call with me where we could go over certain things together. So I've answered this one, how you guys can ask questions. Can we change tracks even we're already choosing? Yes. So we are going to send in track change form. This form is going to be available from Friday and I'll leave it open till registration closes. So you can apply to change your track, right? Is previous programming language required for Eigr? Yes, it is, which requires more coding, data science or data analysis, data science. Can someone take two courses at the same time? No, you cannot. You have to be on one track. When will we be giving the scheme of work for each track? Is a very good question. Your facilitators, you will meet them. You don't even not met them yet. You meet them next week. And you have brief access to your curriculum that same week, right? So we want to leave, these things are general calls. So we want to leave very track specific questions to track calls like this. So very soon you guys will be broken up into smaller segments where you have tracks so that someone that is in backend will not be disturbed with things that concern front-end people and vice versa. It will make the call unnecessarily long. So that's why I keep in those conversations until when you've met your facilitators and your facilitators will book those time to now onboard you within the track. Someone says, what if you want to be a software engineer but have basic knowledge in Python? Of course, that works, even though we said have prior programming experience. So for software engineering, it's that Java or C++, whichever one. The goal is touch code before, right? Because there's some fundamental programming knowledge we want you to have. For example, you should know things like variables, those simple things so that it's easy for you to transition. But the language in which you have your background in doesn't matter if you want to choose for the Java or C++ track. Okay, so that is that for the questions. Let's move on to the second segment of the program. I don't know if Kosi is back in the call. Oh, more questions are coming. Oh, I'm going to answer. Thing is, okay, let me answer it because it might get lost in the chat. When the class is starting, any date yet? Classes are already on, pre-course work is on, and office hours is part of it. But if you're asking for when you'll be officially onboarded into your LMS and get access to track specific courses, that is going to be from the 12th, because registration closes 11th. Onboarding is going to start that week. Although I'm already expecting that week one, you won't really have heavy topics because it's going to be chaotic. Some people will be trying to find their way around the LMS. Is product design suitable for a social worker? Yes. The general answer is yes. Any track is suitable for a social worker. You just have to look for what aligns with your interests. I'm going to suggest, especially since we are giving the chance to change your track, do further research on these courses. Also, the final pre-course work webinar we'll be having is next week, Wednesday, and the lead keynote speaker for that is the product designer, and we also have a data science lead speaker. These two people will be available to take. So you notice the speakers will be intentional about their roles. The first person was more of a community manager and a generalist. The second person yesterday was more of a software engineer. So we're trying to get the next keynote speakers for product designers and the rest. So some of these questions you get like direct answer for people that do this in their day-to-day life. How do we get to know our facilitator? Okay, I think I asked this, I answered this shortly. Meeting your facilitators will be happening next week. Just like you have an onboarding call, you're going to have an onboarding call with your facilitators. You get to meet them. They're going to introduce themselves to you, give you their official emails on how you can reach them, and all of that. So C++, again, focus on software engineering. Technically, you're going to like be back-end focused since you're building services, but for back-end engineering track, specifically back-end for web, is Node.js, or best case scenario, the Django as second option. All right, so I'm going to stop taking questions now. I'm so sorry, it's because of time. I have, with the way we've reached into time, I have just 5 minutes to show us the workshop. So let's go to Hashnode. Step 1 is you're going to visit Hashnode. I have my own blog on Hashnode. So sorry, hold on. Let me look for an account that I don't have Hashnode with and use that so you can see the account creation from the beginning. Give me a moment. Let me check. Let's see. Okay, I think I can use this my other account. All right, so let me share my screen again. Sorry about that. All right, so for Hashnode, so let me tell us what Hashnode is. Hashnode is a tool that allows developers or those that are working in tech to, at the snap of their fingers, create their blog straight up, right? Without having to write the code to do your own blog or going to WordPress to do it. And it comes with so many cool tools. I'm going to share additional resources to learn more about Hashnode, but the focus of this workshop is to show you how to create an account and create your blog. So I'm going to log out of my own. So this is what it's going to look like for you. I'm going to share some of these links. Let me just drop some of them in the chat first. Don't worry, just sit back and listen first. I'll talk very fast, like 5 minutes, so that you guys can practice and I can know how to pinpoint and setting up. So once you visit their homepage, this is what it looks like. It says home for tech writers and readers. You also get to read articles. I have awesome articles that are helpful. Maybe I'll create a channel for that and share. I mean, not the ones I've written. I can't remember last time I wrote an article, by the way. Anyways, the hassle-free blogging platform for engineers, thought leaders, and the dev community. Blog on a custom domain, own your content, and share your ideas with the world. And best part, it is free. You're not paying for anything, right? So when you visit this page, you can, just look through and get more information. Now, let's look at creating your account. Once you get here, you're going to click on this button that says Get Started. It is free. Let me admit this person. Once you click on the button, I would suggest that you sign up with your Google account. Okay, right? So you could also, I can't remember, I know there's this campaign they are doing for referring people. So if you register on time, you can hustle people to use your link to join. I don't know. I don't know what the reward is, to be honest. I think there's something like that. So that is what this signing using a magic link is all about. So I would suggest you sign in using your Google account, just like I will do here. I'm going to choose this one that I do not have an account with already. Wait for it to authenticate you, and it's going to take you to this step. Once you get here, provide your full name, use your official name, right? For your username, you can choose anything. This is a demo account, so I'm going to name this one Ada Project. Okay, symbols are not allowed, so let's use Ada Project. This is my email address. Enter your tagline, like tell us what you do. So if you're a front-end developer, it could be like front-end developer doing blah, 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 blah. Start calling in your personal bio. So since I'm building this one for the other project, I'll just say, okay, tech bootcamp for women. So next, after this, I have just 1 minute left. It's taking forever. Please load, please load. Okay, what brings you to hash load? I'm a writer. Next. Everybody is choosing your writer because you're going to write my ideas. What kind of writer are you? You can choose your new to blogging because there are some tools that could help you that I will suggest. So next is, what do you want? Where do you want this blog to be located? Now, please pay attention to this. Unless you actually have a custom domain, right, you can map it. I don't think I have to show the steps for people. So if you have a custom domain, you should be able to like find a way around mapping it. However, for most of you, you're going to use hashnodes domain. That means it's going to be, if your nickname is Chidinma, for example, so you have your own domain on hashnodes, it's going to be chidinma.hashnodes.dev. That's going to be the link to your blog in case you want to share it with people. So for this, I'm going to use adaptproject.hashnode.dev, right? And click on next. Once it's available, it's going to let you know. You could also use school names, although I highly suggest you use your official name. So that could be like, overall, we want your SEO to improve. So that when people search your name, your blog can also come up on Google. All right, so you can see I'm all set. You see how quick that was? This is the link to my blog, and this is the link to my dashboard. Let me open this in a new tab so we can look at these two differently, right? And then, of course, I highly encourage you to do this. Tweet about it. You may or may not get an interaction, but do it. Part of the things Kosi was supposed to tell people about is, if you do not have a Twitter account, please create it. It's not going to take more than a few clicks. Like I said, we want to make sure that all our students have solid online presence and good representation, because very soon we're going to mandate you to share the projects you're working on publicly, right? So Twitter and LinkedIn, we're going to have a different workshop next week that is going to tell you how to set up your LinkedIn account properly. It's going to be like 1 hour workshop. There's nothing else to be talking about LinkedIn. So for now, just create those accounts, right? So you can participate in the Twitter rates and you can tweet once you have it open. Let me click on next. We'll come back to see how those other ones look like. Now you can customize your blog. You could do this immediately or you could leave it for later, right? You can give your blog a name. So what you did before is you set the URL. That's the link that people will visit to get to your blog. There are so many cool things you could do with the blog. So we could call this, again, because the boring person, I'll just call it the other project. Right, but if it's yours, you look for a cool name, the text is corner, something fun that you can release it. And then next, you can also customize your header color. For Ada, I can't believe about this. Ada has a custom color, but I don't know what it is. So let's just go with this shade of purple for now. Next, also, if you make a mistake in this step, it's fine. You can always go back to your blog settings and update these things. You can also customize how you want your blog to look like to people that are visiting. Do you want it to have the magazine layout? Do you want it to have the stats layout? Do you want it to have the grid layout? I personally prefer the magazine layout. You can choose any one. You could go to your settings, experiment, check how it looks like to your viewers, because this is the blog you'll be sharing with your friends. Come and see the awesome things you're doing. So make it look bang, right? But no pressure. Next, and we are done, right? Next one is just choose tags of conversations that you are interested in. If you are, for me, I'm a JavaScript dev, so I'll just pick things that are interesting to me. I also write Python, I write this. So I'll just click on finish, and that is it, right? The next part of this workshop is going to walk us through how to write. But before I let you guys practice, because we are running out of time, to be honest, this is how my blog looks like. This is the link to my blog. It's currently empty, so if you write an article and people visit the blog, they're going to see those articles. This is the dashboard. What I would suggest is visit it and do some customization, play around with the tools. Now, what I'm going to do for want of time, there are resources, extra resources that I'm going to share in the resources channel that is going to go over formatting with your writing and all of that, right? For practice. And then anyone that runs into problems will ask me. But let's start the practice now. I think I'm done blabbing. Try to start. Oh, Joanna, I'm so sorry. Try to start creating your account. Like these ones I just showed you. I'm resharing the link again. Try to create your accounts and get started. Let me know once you've done that. So as that is going on, I'm going to post the general task in the channel for tasks. But what you're working on today is, let me go to your pre-course work outline for this week. So today is Wednesday. We are done with office hours. So what we're going to do is you're going to write an article that, number one, highlights rather from the tech career roadmap video. Like what were those key lessons that she talked about in that video? That is what's going to let me know that you did yesterday's task, right? You're going to write down the highlights that you got, the key points, and if you are referencing somebody, make sure at the end of your article you write credits and link that video to it. Talk about the next subsection of that same article is how you intend to apply those principles that you learned from that video on crafting your tech career roadmap. And thirdly, you're going to tweet the link to the article. I'm available to help you proofread your work. So once you are done, I think I would create a channel dedicated to articles. So if you need me to proofread your work, just drop it there and ask me to proofread, and I'll quickly do it, give feedback before you publish. This task is due on Friday. So what that means is, don't worry, in tomorrow's office hours, we are going to continue with HashNode workshop, right? I'm going to, apart from the resources, I'll take questions and tailor the demo and workshop to pain points, right? But that doesn't stop you from asking questions before then. But this is what the task is. And I'm going to publish this task in the general task channel. So let's be practicing. We have less than 10 minutes this call. Okay. Uma said I had a question. I have a website. Please ignore what I'm saying, right? I'll just attend to people that have the question. Oh, well done, Chipudi. That is awesome. So once you have your blog, in fact, hold on. Let me go on Discord. Let me quickly create what do we call this? Do we call this blog or articles? Let me just make it very specific. Blog articles channel. Please don't spam this channel. Use it for the right reasons. So if you have created your blog, I need you to drop the links to your blog here, right? I'm going to follow everybody's blog page. I want you to read what you're putting out personally. So come to blog articles and drop the link to your blog. The link to your blog should look something like this one, other project or hashnode.dev. I don't know. I might post here once in a while. I don't know. Maybe I'll use my personal blog. I have no idea. So just like I did, I'm going to copy that, add a text. So if you're posting links on Discord, make sure you add a text before the link so that I can give you a preview, right? So this is, so you can just follow my format. This is the link to that project blog, right? So we'll just make yours less serious. Hello, and this is the link to my own blog or something like that. And paste it. So you see, if I paste this and send, you should format it properly for me. That's when you're going to like have this still showing Sophia Abubaka's book. All right, so we just basically get to do this. I would like to see that. Also, when you write articles and you have drafts, once you have your drafts ready, let me know. This task is due on Friday. I'll make task submission link available from Thursday. I encourage people to work on tasks early. Normally, we give bonus points for those that submit tasks early, but I'm going to reserve bonus points until classes start officially. Okay, so I'm done blabbing. Yes, I was trying to answer Ma's question before. So I'll be taking questions now. Please be trying it out. So if there's any issue, you can let me know. And don't stress. Don't stress if you can rewatch this video. I will give, like I said, I'll share resources about writing so you can get started. In tomorrow's workshop, we'll start with hash notes again, and I'll give us much more examples with writing and applying some of those knowledge and take questions. So Uma says I have a website or domain hosted on WordPress, but it is down now because it's undergoing technical upgrade and all. What do I do in this case? It was created for a vision or movement too. I'm a content writer and editor too, and I know a lot about blogging, website design using WordPress since I already took an intensive training in digital marketing. Please, what do I do? Also, yesterday I mentioned that if you're already a content creator, apart from the writing that is compulsory, if there are other mediums you want to use to communicate your experiences and projects you're working on, maybe you want to shoot a YouTube video or something, let us know. We'll create even a specific channel for other types of content that you're working on. We want to market you out there. So you're allowed to do some of these things in those levels. Then back to the blog, like I mentioned earlier, if you already have an existing blog on WordPress or your own personal domain that you built the blog by yourself, especially those that are in domain track, you do not have to create one on Hashnode. Just share the link to that, your blog, to me in this channel, right? And well done, names. I've seen yours. All right. Okay, so how many more minutes do we have? 6 more minutes. So bring in your questions. Let me know if you are done and all of that. Yes, Nina, this is recorded and the link to the recording will be shared in the recordings channel. Okay. Let's keep this coming. We have less than 5 minutes left. So if you have questions and all of that, like I said, after this call, go to Discord, go to General Task channel. The same way I posted this one yesterday, I'm going to post the General Task. Now, there's no submission form for this one because it's for you to watch a video. There's going to be a submission form for the one I'll be sharing today. We're going to share the link to the article. Right, so how I'm going to know that you did this task is when you're able to write the article that I'm requesting for. All right, so say when will the recording be posted? Is it now? Not immediately, actually, because the person recording has to save it. I mean, we're not doing any editing, so depending on how fast he's able to upload it. But once he gives me the go ahead that it has been uploaded on YouTube, I will immediately share the link with us on Discord. Hope no one is having issues creating the Hashnode account and hope we are all cool. Let me stop sharing my screen for now. Less than 4 minutes left, 12 on the dot, we are ending the call. Oh, I almost forgot attendance. Let me send it in. Where's the form? This is why I really need us to quickly get on the LMS. I have to manually stop taking attendance like this. Attendance link will be shared shortly. If you have not observed, I normally close access to, like the link stops accepting responses after some time. So I would advise you quickly fill in the attendance while you're still on the call before I disable responses. Okay. Let me see if there are any questions on Discord. Okay, these are questions for Ihoma. Also, Ihoma is our tech support person. So most of the time when you ask a question, I'll leave it to her to answer unless the question specifically needs my attention. We have some new persons joining the house. Welcome everybody. I'm seeing your introductions in the intro channel. We're happy to have you. Webinar questions. Somebody is just saying I love this question intended. Cassie, where have you been? Cassie. Is Cassie even on this call? I don't think so. Yes, thanks, Angel. Thanks to you guys for making our time. I would assume there are no more questions. Blacks in Israel says he's new here. This is giving a hint that some persons are not. So basically, I'll suggest if you're not in the server already, you should join. Let me drop the link to join the Discord server so that you can do that. Thanks. Okay, let me get the link. Before we call it the morning, right? Or is it afternoon? Where did I keep this Discord link? I need to keep it in a more accessible file. If you're just joining the call and you're not in the server, kindly join. Use the help channel to ask questions if you feel lost. And Ivoma, the IT support person, will be there to assist you. She's your G. Yes, Chibedu, God bless you. Please prepare. If you are in Enugu and you are not so far from WAEC, if you're asking where WAEC is, that means you are too far from it. If you're in Enugu and you're not so far from WAEC, kindly come to the Enugu State Tech Hub on Friday. The session on Friday is going to be in person, but don't worry, we're going to stream. I'm going to join with my laptop like this, so that those that are virtual will hop on the call. Video is going to be on, so you get to see what the place we'll be using for the session is. We'll get to have these workshops live. Come with your laptop. Sorry, hold on. Let me quickly check what we have planned out for Friday's office hour. Okay, so Friday office hour is mostly updates and checking and to update you what we'll be working on the following week. We're also going to publish the leaderboard. We're going to review articles. And importantly, I think we're also going to quickly touch upon, if there is enough time, cybersecurity. We're going to start the conversation on cybersecurity from Friday. Not as a track, but just general cybersecurity measures for people on the call, because some persons are new and want you to be safe while you're in the program. All right, it's 12 p.m. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for showing up, turning out. I wish you the absolute best. Make sure you feel the attendance. Hey, somebody is just joining at the close of the session. All right, so thanks for having me. I would normally do my. Oh, someone is asking questions. So because we are done, drop your questions in the help channel. We'll look at them later. I need to switch to another call right now, so there's no outro. There's no outro music today, unfortunately, because I'm needed in that meeting like now. So do you have a lovely day? Stay jiggy. Bye.